Hello, everyone. Miss Rocket here, coming to you today to talk to you about a company that I've worked for in the past and give you a quick review here. So, the name of the company is VIPKID, as you can see here on my screen. And as you may know, if you've watched some of my other videos, I have taught language both locally in the United States and internationally. And I've also taught online, and I currently manage a language program. So I want to share with you some of my experiences and hopefully give you some information that'll be useful to you if you're considering working in this field. So, one of the companies that I taught virtually for was, again, VIPKID. As you can see here, I taught for them a little while, maybe about 6 to 8 months or so. And they are one of the more popular language companies, English language learning companies online. They are based out of China. Many of their students are Chinese speaking, if not all of them. So it was overall a great company to work for, but there were some pros and some cons. So to start with, the pros. Well, first of all, your lessons are created for you, so you don't have to spend time creating lessons, which was great for me because I didn't have time for that type of thing when I was working for VIPKID. So it is simple in that you do not have to create your own lessons. Also, the classes are pretty short. They are not, at the time when I was working for them, they weren't quite an hour long. You actually taught about 30 minutes for each class. And so if you're thinking about how you get paid with this company, you're paid mainly by the number of classes that you teach, and there's like an hourly rate for each class. So they will likely tell you that you can make about $20 an hour, but keep in mind that that means teaching two classes in an hour, where I know some companies you can, you can teach hourly and you're only teaching one class an hour. With VIPKID, you're actually teaching two classes in that hour. So that was something that was kind of a surprise to me because, generally classes that I've taught online, they were 45 minutes to an hour long. But these are short, I think, because my students were mainly elementary, kindergarten age, and you're not able to, engage in keeping a kindergartner that long. So they shorten the classes. Okay. Also, you're working independently, which is another pro for me. I was able to really, do this independently. I had my own little office set up and my own little props, which you don't have to invest a lot of money in props, but it does help to have them. As you can see in the picture here, this young lady has her board behind her and little props that help to keep the student engaged. She's got a flashcard with letters on it. So keep in mind those types of props do help to keep your students engaged, especially considering that your students with VIPKID are children. So they go from like kindergarten to high school age. So again, the independence was definitely a pro for me. So again, the pros were the lessons being already created. The classes are short, and I was able to work very independently. I would also say that this company is pretty well organized. It is probably one of the largest English language learning companies right now. Um, if you're an English teacher, an ESL teacher, you've probably heard of it already. And they're pretty organized, so that was helpful. The cons. So I would have to say that the cons were that you have little contact with the staff. Um, And so you're really working by yourself. It's just you and your students for the most part. You can contact the staff, excuse me, but that's primarily through email, and you have to wait for a response. So that can be a little challenging at times if you're having difficulty um, with technology, or you just have a concern or something you're not sure about. You do need to create an email. And I want to just say as a side note that I worked for this company. It's been maybe about 5 years or so. So some things may have changed. Maybe not 5 years, maybe 3 years ago. Um, so some things may have changed, but this was my experience back then. Um, so yes, there's little contact with staff. Also, you are teaching on video. So again, other companies I've worked for, you don't have to have your face in the camera to teach language. But for this company, they do want you to be on video. So as you can see, this lady here, she is looking at her screen. They send you a T-shirt with VIP KID on it, and they want you to be wearing that. For me, the challenge was with being on video was that I had small children. So it was difficult for me to always be on video and be camera ready. So keep that in mind. Also, you have to teach quite a bit to make really good money. So, and this is just my opinion. I think you're paid um, by each class, and hourly you're looking at around $20 um, an hour, maybe a little bit less. And so if you want to make a lot of money, you're teaching quite a few classes, because of each class, remember, each class is about 30 minutes long. In order to make, good amount of money or teach a good number of hours, you have to spend quite a bit of time teaching. And that was the challenge for me. Again, having a family and being busy with my family didn't allow me to teach a whole lot. And keep in mind too that teaching English online is not, like, for me, in my opinion, it's not like a full-time job. It's like an extra stream of income. It's a part-time job. You can make it full-time if you want, because many of the companies, they offer like as many hours as you want. But you have to work quite a bit to make a lot of money. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But I think that was my last con. So again, just a quick review. The con for me, oh, I forgot to mention one, and that is the time zone. So since the students are in China, um, the availability for classes is based on the Chinese time zone. So, which is kind of the opposite of ours. So the classes are generally, I think I was teaching at night quite a bit, because then my students were um, waking up and, learning primarily in the mornings. So you have to consider that, the time zone, because if you're not a night person, or if you want to be teaching primarily in the morning, that may not work for you. But if you like to teach at night, then that could be a great thing for you. It just all depends on what works for you as an individual. And so that is something really important to keep in mind as well, that the classes are not just based on your availability. You can't just say, well, oh, I'm free, I can teach a class. It really depends on the time zone of your students. And most of them were uh, up and learning and taking classes in the evening. So, you select from the hours that are available based on the time zone of your students. I hope that makes sense. I'm just basically saying that, don't think that you can take classes whenever you want to take them. It has to be based on when your students are available. Okay, so that may or may not coincide with your own schedule. Um, so that is what I have in terms of the pros and cons for teaching with VIP Kid. Overall, it's a very good company. Um, and I think if you have lots of flexibility, it could be a fun company and a good one for you to work for. If you have small children and you're busy around the house, you've got lots of other responsibilities, it may not be the best option for you. But hey, only you can say that what will work best for you. So I do recommend checking into it, learning more about the organization. And thank you for listening today. Please remember to like and subscribe. I'll be sharing more on language learning. And I look forward to connecting with you. Feel free to drop comments about what you would like to see as well.